Good morning. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the 2025 Baltimore Area Council Popcorn Sale. I'm Brendan Canale. I'm the Director of Development for the Baltimore Area Council. This is my ninth popcorn season with you all. I have the privilege of working with Ryan Lundberg, who is our Regional Sales Director from Trails End. Ryan's going to run the majority of this morning's training. I'll cover a bit of the local portion at the end. But Ryan, if you want to click to the next screen, I just wanted to take a quick minute, highlight some of our top sales here. But our two top sellers out of the Hartford district selling a combined $36,000. And then our number three seller out of Pack 454, just shy of 10 grand. So really impressive stuff. Taking a look at our top units, I hear all the time that Cub Scouts sell popcorn and that troops don't really sell popcorn. But take a look at Troop 238 and Troop 809G in Hartford District, a combined $140,000. And then Pack 234 there in second place, almost $77,000. So lots of great stuff. The popcorn sale, I know it's important to your annual program. I know it's important to your kids. It is also a big fundraiser for the Baltimore Area Council, so we appreciate the time that you all put into it. I went up to camp a number of times this summer and visited scouts that were there for free because of the popcorn sale. So I know that that's a great benefit to our families. And then, of course, if you came out to Scout Day at the Orioles, of the just shy of 4,000 kids that were there, 400 of them were there for free because of popcorn. Lots of great opportunities to earn rewards, pay your own way, and really make a difference for the scouting year through this sale. We are excited that this sale starts a little bit earlier this year than it has in the past. If you make it through this training and you're like, wow, Ryan inspired me to sell popcorn in August, send me an email and we will absolutely be able to get you popcorn next week to get started. We really do think that sales before Labor Day give your existing scouts an opportunity to make a little bit of money before they get caught up in the school year. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan.
Okay. My name is Ryan Lundberg. I'm one of the territory managers, like Brendan said. I've been with the popcorn sale and the Trails End company for a little over 7.5 years. So looking forward to doing this training today to talk to all you all. And thanks for giving your Saturday to kind of talk popcorn and all the different things we're going to highlight. So yeah, some great sellers that Brendan highlighted on here, some huge numbers, and hopefully we can see some repeats and some new people on this list next year. Okay, so let's go through it. The first thing I always like to talk about is kind of the why behind the popcorn sale. It's really focused on this concept called the ideal year of scouting. This is super critical to have a really good popcorn sale, is establishing the main reason why you're selling. It's all based off your program, right? So if you plan your program, I think this is one of the most fun times when you meet with your fellow unit leaders is you list the activities and adventures, you hold brainstorming sessions with your families on what they'd like to do, and you plan those trips and campouts. Obviously, that all costs money. So Trails End has a couple different resources to help you with this, along with your field staff. So never hesitate to reach out to your district executive or anybody at the council. They can give you some really cool ideas on what to spend your funds on to have a good program. But the one thing you can start with is the Trails End budgeting tool, which you will find in your unit leader dashboard once you log in. There you can add in your camp costs, your registration, your fees, your advancements, and so forth, and start really kind of figuring out what that's going to cost. The big thing around that is speaking to your parents. So if what's in it for your parents to participate, right? So the big thing for that is if everybody sells X amount of dollars, maybe their whole program could be for free. The next thing you've got is you can put a calendar together so people are all very organized. Then you can set those specific goals, you know, your commission, and you can factor that in on how much you need to sell, and then go out and raise those funds. It's really more focused. We say it all the time at Trails End. It's less time fundraising, more time scouting. How efficient can we be? So a lot of my presentation today is going to be how can you be efficient and get in and get out and have fun. Okay, so goal setting is also important because we have some requirements in our system for you to do certain things before you need a goal. So as long as you set a goal in the Trails End system, you're allowed to reserve those storefronts. And then that's something that the council and Trails End can monitor to make sure a unit doesn't take too many storefronts or they're on pace to hit their goal, because we want you to succeed as much as hopefully you want to succeed. So we can monitor in real time if you're close to your goal or not. Remember, goal setting tool is in the training resources tab and set that goal. I see a lot of unit leaders put in a lot lower of a goal than really what they need. I don't know if that's just a psyche thing of you really want to achieve your goal, but make sure you're really accurate with that number. That's going to help us forecast for popcorn. That's going to help us book storefronts and also monitor. I can tell you, I spoke with a unit on Friday that had a $2,000 goal and over 200 hours reserved. That's too many hours for a $2,000 goal. Other units can use that. So that's the thought process. Just want to highlight that. And it wasn't something malicious. The unit leader just didn't really fully understand how much they would sell at those storefronts. Okay, so that's your goal process there. Okay, ways to sell. So Trails End offers 3 different main forms of selling throughout the campaign. The first one, and by far the biggest one by dollar generation, is your storefront tables. You can set up these tables at high foot traffic locations. My favorite thing about storefronts is it's just a different type of fundraiser. A lot of fundraisers focus so much on you reaching out to your friends and family. Look, they get hit up from all their different friends and family all over the world, right? So really what you want to do is target inside your community. Those people want to support you too. So that's the thought process at storefronts. Trails End reserves those, which we'll talk about, but I also expect unit leaders to reserve their storefronts too. Find some really good mom and pop locations, places that maybe I wouldn't know based out of Indianapolis that in the Baltimore Area Council. Best practice, one scout and their parent at the shift, and then also work your way to multiple locations at once. So that's the storefront section. The storefronts we reserve have an average between $200 and $300 an hour with a well-trained scout. So based off foot traffic. Online. Okay, online is a great tool to reach friends and family across the United States that don't live in your zip code. In fact, over 85% of the online sales in the council last year were outside of your council boundary zip codes. So this is where people can sell virtually. Product ships directly to the consumer, and it's very, very easy and safe to sell. We have a flat rate shipping model this year of $5.99. So there's no $65 free shipping threshold. So people can buy 1, 2, 3, how many ever items, and they pay that $5.99. Pretty simple. Next part, and we'll talk more about online. This is just kind of the preview to some of the movie, if you will. But the wagon sale, this one is the tried and true method. This is what I used to do when I was a scout. But what you can do is go door to door or inside your local community and deliver that product or deliver it later. What I like to say, get creative with this. I know my neighborhood has a pretty active Facebook group. There's a local scout that lives about 4 doors down from me. His name is Scott, and he his parents also help him. He posts on the Facebook group and says, would anybody like to support me in my scouting adventures? I can deliver popcorn directly to you. So he kind of cut out some of that work of going door to door, and he posted on Facebook, and people will reply. He averages 5 to 7 replies when he does that every year. So think about it. Go door to door, go inside your community. Maybe your parent or guardian takes the order form or the app to work and sells through it like that. I also like to say averages, right? So if a scout just does storefronts in your council, it's over $800 a scout. That's a huge average. But if a scout does all 3, the average is north of $1,100 in your council. So what I like to say is when you're out there talking to your scouts, have them try a little bit of each method, find out what's best for them. But that true average of $1,100 is huge. So make sure you try all 3 of those different methods. Okay, so you might be asking, what are some of the resources you have for us? Well, the big one is your unit leader portal, also found at trailsend.com. So leaders manage the entire sale on one dashboard. So you log in and you can see all these different things. You can invite your scouts to register, manage the roster, easily open your unit and scout goals. This is obviously where you order popcorn, which Brendan just talked about. It's not too late to hop on this order that was already due. I really appreciate the council. They order a surplus of popcorn on their first order. So if people come into the sale, I always find it funny that a unit orders 2,000, sell it the first weekend, and literally text Brandon like, this worked better than I thought. I need more. It never fails. But anyway, easily set unit goals, order popcorn, real-time reporting on your inventory, unit to unit transfers. So if you have some salted caramel and you want to trade with your unit for their white cheddar, you can absolutely do that without having any work from me as a roadblock, or even the council as a potential roadblock. Then you can schedule your storefront shifts and manage the storefront sites on that website. If you have more questions, I highly recommend some of the Trails End webinars or some of the YouTube videos. They can really walk you in depth, but you really can't break anything. So I also like to say, don't get intimidated. Read the side on that hamburger menu on the left and just start clicking around and looking through and do a little self-training. hopefully it's pretty intuitive. Yep. Okay. So we talked about storefronts. We'll talk about storefronts again. Overall, we booked over 12,000 hours for the Baltimore Area Council. The claiming started on July 22nd for 10,000 plus units, and the 24th it opened to unlimited. Brenda and I are in the process of reviewing how many hours units have taken, and you can reserve those storefronts. I like to say you are not limited to your district. You can reserve anywhere that your heart desires. And remember, these stores have high foot traffic areas. So it may be worth driving an extra 5 to 10 minutes. Everybody's got their own how far they're willing to drive. And I know traffic, especially in your neck of the woods in the country, can get a little crazy, a little different than where I'm at in the Midwest. But if you drive a little bit further to some of these stores, you're definitely going to be worth it and worth your time. So take a look at those. And also remember, secure your own locations. There's some different updates we've got on the Trails End system for the storefront system. First off, we talked about it earlier, but I'll hit it again. You have to have a goal set and make sure it's a realistic goal. And it's what you actually need to fundraise, not a smaller goal or not a huge goal, really tailored to your unit. We'll have guidance in the storefront system. It'll tell you how many hours you need to hit your goal. It'll say, hey, Mr. or Miss Unit Leader, you've got way too many hours, or hey, you've got not enough hours. So make sure you look at that type inside that technology. The other thing we got, and if you're on your Facebook group, you may have saw, or our Facebook group, you may have saw a post on this, this auto release. I'm super excited about this. I was at a meeting with Trails End people, and we noticed that over 38% of the weekend hours claimed in 2024 by unit leaders were not worked by scouts. Best intentions, right? Stuff happens. A scout gets sick, or a unit leader, all of a sudden an event comes up and they can't work their storefront. But 38% of the hours that my team smiles and dials and picks up the phone and emails and registers all those shifts, it just can't happen because there's going to be unit leaders out there that want those shifts. So what we're doing is something called auto release. Auto release for the only Trails End storefronts. That's the first thing. Only Trails End book. So if you book your own store, I'm not going to take it because you didn't fill it. I promise. So this works at Thursdays at 8 o'clock, the upcoming weekend. So it would have been last Thursday for today and tomorrow. If there's not a scout assigned to the location at Thursdays at 8, one scout is going to go back into that pool. But as long as you do have one scout on any shift, it's not going to get released. So it's really helping. So if it's me, I'm setting a calendar reminder at Thursdays at 8. If I need more storefronts, I'm hopping on 7:58, refreshing at 8, and seeing if any more stores pop up that I would like to work. So make sure you take a look for that new functionality. We've gotten great feedback. It's early. We have about 13 councils nationally that are selling today that received their popcorn a little earlier than the Baltimore Area Council 1 week earlier. And over 20% of the hours claimed were shot back into the pool because no scouts were attending it. So it's already starting to work. We're already seeing those sites been filled. So again, too many shifts were no-showed in 2024. This is the thought process to help with that. And we may have some more functionality based off unit leader feedback going forward. Okay, next functionality we got is the Trails End smartphone app. It's definitely had some updates this year, which I'll showcase, but it's a point of sale system. So who uses the Trails End app? The Trails End app is for the scout parent or scout guardian for a point of sale platform. It's not for the unit leader. The unit leader uses the unit leader dashboard that's web-based. This app is available on the Google Play and Apple App Store. It tracks the inventory and sales, manages so a scout can sign up to his or her storefront, accepts credit card sales. So last year, your council processed over 85% credit card versus cash. Trails End covers all the credit card fees. And it's powered by Square. So inside the app, we partnered with Square, and that's what the integration of that technology is. And we have this new functionality that I'm very excited about for this year. It's called Tap to Pay. I'm sure you guys have done this, whether you're at the gas station or where you're going out to eat, you go into Chipotle, whatever that is, you're using your credit card and you're tapping on a screen. Now your phone can do that. So somebody can use their smartwatch, their credit card with a chip, their phone-to-phone transaction, Apple Pay, Google Pay, all that fun information can be used on a smartphone. That's going to be a game changer. You can still use your Bluetooth readers. You can still use anything you've got with that, but now the phone really becomes the benefit there. So every scout has the ability to take credit card as long as they're in the app, and they can either manually type it or use the tap to pay system. Here's a new screenshot of the app. I hope you've all have downloaded if you've got a scout in the program. Um, there's different functionality in here. You can definitely make a sale. You can set your goal. There's a program called cash to credit. So if a scout takes cash transactions, he or she can turn that into credit card sales and earn more points in our reward system. There's storefronts data in there where they can sign up. As you see on my screenshot, there's an Ace hardware from 10 to noon, and the next shift is in 3 days. So kind of prompting that scout to work that one. Shows all your sales data, shows your orders, shows online sales, and most importantly, there's training. So we've got some new videos in there from one of our top selling scouts. His name's JJ, sold over 50,000, and he gives you his sales pitch. He won't give you where he sells because he is very guarded on that information, but he'll tell you how to do it. So he's based in the Midwest, though, in Minnesota. So no worries. But anyway, I think there were a couple questions, Brendan. I want to make sure if you want to monitor those, and then let me know if there's one that I can pause and say to, because I don't want to make sure we're not too far down the presentation on some of this stuff. So we're good. Okay. All right. The other thing with the app, we've got some updates in the online sales system. So the first thing I love that you can target past customers extremely easily. So odds are if a consumer bought from you last year, they're going to buy from you again. So I've got a scout that I support. One of my good friends has his scout is in Central Florida Council in Orlando. And I say it really doesn't start till JD sends me a message trying to support himself. My sale doesn't start. So he knows it's just 2 clicks of the button, past consumers. Text is the new way to do it. More and more consumers are buying from your scouts once you go through your contacts and text out your link. And the link looks great. If you have a photo of your scout, the scout's included. It does not look like a phishing attempt. I don't know how many of those I get like a week or a job offer. You get those funny text messages that you have an unpaid toll. Like this looks really legit. The next part is your email. You can send those emails out. And then obviously social media is very important. Sharing on social, on Facebook, on X, on any of those different ones you can share. The other thing is scouts are so guided to their personalized information with new empty states to help them get started. There's different in-app guides. We're going to give all that information in those in-app guides where you can see, like if you first log in, it's going to tell you to set your goal. It's going to tell you to complete storefront settings. It's going to tell you to invite your scouts. It's also going to tell you if you got too many storefronts. It's going to tell you you have shifts coming up. It's going to tell you if there are no scouts assigned to them. There's different things to try to help guide you to what we think is important information for you to monitor. Trails End Online. Again, with the online sale, we're really focused on the scout story and making the consumer feel good about purchasing a donation with a side of product. So it's going to have some imagery on the top. It's going to have a good paragraph on what you need to fill out for your scout. It's going to have a bar graph there on raising those specific dollars. All that information is going to be vitally important for consumers to visit the website and buy. We'll talk more about the theory around this popcorn sale and the thought process of overpriced popcorn with the side of a donation, right? We'll talk about all that in a couple slides. But the big thing there is it's all about the scout. And we also need to tell that online too.
Hey, Ryan, before we get too far past storefronts,
go for it.
We had a question about when scouts will be able to claim sites. It looks like it's holding a shift until August 8th. Does that make sense, or should we?
Yeah, so the unit leader actually has the ability to adjust any of their site selections. So a lot of unit leaders want to have like a meeting before and say, hey, tomorrow after the meeting, it's going to go live. So I expect my scouts to sign up at that time. Some people do it right away. So the unit leader has the ability to adjust every single shift or every single reservation, and then they can default to a specific date also. So that is definitely something the unit leader has the control over. Yeah.
Great. So Pack 24, take a look at that. If you're having an issue, send me an email on the side and we'll take a look at that for you. We had a question about auto release and if all of the hours are not claimed. My understanding is as long as 1 hour is claimed, they get to keep the storefront. Is that true?
That is totally true. We don't want to have one scout that wants to sell in your unit, you kind of disenfranchised that all of a sudden no other scouts signed up. So as long as one scout is willing to work at least 1 hour, you're good to go. Your shift is safe, or your reservation is safe.
Awesome. So Keith and anybody else that had that question, just make sure that you get at least one scout signed up and we'll get some sales in. Ryan, good to keep going.
Okay. Here's a little tap to pay demo. Let's see. It's going to be just pretty quick. So here's Leah. She's our product and engineering lead. She's the one who designs all the new app with her team. She's just going to run through a quick demo of how quick the tap to pay is. So she's got her credit card here. So she's going to demonstrate it's better sometimes on the back of the phone for the iPhone than the front. It'll still work on both. It also depends on what kind of case you have on it. But we just want to show the quickness and the speed of her credit card. So there's the whole process there. So pretty easy. Okay. All right. One of the slides I'm probably most excited to present is some of the prizes for your scouts. Okay. So in the past, we've just partnered with Amazon.com for Amazon gift cards. This year, we're expanding to over 15 different options. Amazon, Target, Walmart, prepaid MasterCard. That's my favorite. You can take that anywhere that MasterCard is accepted. So it could be your local camp. It could be the scout shop. It could be anything. Dick's Sporting Goods, Nintendo, GameStop, Bass Pro, Cabela's, Apple, Lego, Xbox, and PlayStation. So scouts can also earn different types of gift cards. So you don't just have to settle with one. You can also use these gift cards in store. So if you have your Target gift card, for instance, you can go to a Target, whatever that looks like. I love it for unit leaders because there's no approving or receiving or distributing prizes. It's a safe, easy way to do it. Saves you a bunch of time. It's uncapped. Baltimore Area Council has also done a really good job the last couple of years with heroes and helpers donations, which I will talk about in a couple more slides, but we are doing a boost there, an extra half point to scouts. So the way this works, it's 1 point for cash sales, 1.25 point for credit card sales, and then another 0.5 points for heroes and helpers. To work all those points up, another great thing about it is it's so focused inside the technology that you can see where the scout is at any time, and he or she is motivated to keep going through different prompts and so forth in the technology to earn the biggest gift card that they can. So really pumped about it. Looking forward to seeing what your scouts purchase and them getting their gift cards at the end of the sale. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some of the thought process on products, some of the thought processes on your scout sales pitch. This for sure matters. I can't tell you how many times I went to a storefront site where a scout just says, "Would you like to buy popcorn?" Look, I appreciate the scout being out there, but they're just not being as efficient as they can be. And it takes a little bit of training and leadership from somebody like you to really turn that around. So first off, let's talk about the thought process. Never, never, never buy or say customers to buy popcorn. It's all about supporting that scout. The number one reason why people support is to help that individual get out there and sell their own program. So it's got to be specific to that specific scout. The next part is why consumers buy is the scouting movement in general. And then third is the product. So I'm earning my way to summer camp with a $20 donation. You can pick any bag on the table. Help me earn my archery, canoeing, and first aid merit badge. So something very similar like that. And then we'll talk about the $20 donation here soon. So remember, you're not selling popcorn. You are not a grocery store. You are not a Costco. You are not a Target. You are a scout unit that is looking for donations and giving a gift with that. You got to change that mindset. So remember, there are 3 different parties, technically 4 that have it. So Trails End has that product cost. The council puts on a great program with their portion, and then you have that commission too. So that's the thought process with the $20 donation. So pick something very specific on what your scout wants to do. The other thought process is we've got that one price, simplifies the fundraiser. We've got inventory management on this one price on $20. If you make a mistake selling the wrong bag, it's really easy for the unit leader to adjust. The other part about this is we've done a ton of different research when it comes to product price points. So we had over 5,000 customer interactions that we measured last year, testing different price points with different unit leaders all over the country. We saw with the $20 mix an $11 an hour increase. Doesn't sound like a ton, but if you factor in over 900,000 storefronts, $11 is huge. The other part that I liked was 8% more yeses. Consumers were more likely to say yes with a one price model than no. The other thing that was interesting was the scouts started to understand more that it was more not about the product, because it's the $20 donations, it's about me and my unit. So we'll talk a product mix here in a second. Before we do, let's talk about that heroes and helpers process. So overall, Trails End had 52,000 scouts across the country turn in donations. Over 300,000 bags were donated to active military, veterans, and local food banks. Brendan, did you want to highlight what the Baltimore Area Council does? I love that it stayed local. That's kind of what I wanted to throw out
Sure.
there.
So over the last few years, we've rotated around the council, recognizing a series of heroes and helpers. 2 years ago, we were able to support the Hartford County Sheriff's Department, the Bel Air Police and Fire Departments. Last year, we went through the Anne Arundel County Office of Emergency Management, and we hit every first responder you can imagine in Anne Arundel County. They came out and forced to meet with us. They met with some of our scouts. So we really do. We make sure it stays local, and it's a great way to highlight the people that are out doing the hard work for us. So thanks for making that possible to all of you and to Trails End.
Yeah, it was really cool. There's a really good LinkedIn post on the social media too for the popcorn sale. It's really cool to see scouts interacting with first responders. Loved it. Shared it at our company meeting. It was really cool. Okay. Any dollar donation can be turned in. So if somebody says, I don't want to buy popcorn, you can take in that $10, that $5, that $7, whatever that is, turn it in as heroes and helpers. Where does that money go? Right? Let's be transparent. So the unit still earns their said commission. The council earns their said commission. Trails End then in turns takes the difference and donates it. Scouts earn additional points though. This is new. So if they turn in those, they get an extra half point. We will have a copy of the slide deck. I saw that in the chat. Without that blue mark, I don't know what happened, but hey, it looks like one of my 3.5-year-old got a hold of our PowerPoint for a second. That's what it looks like to me, but I apologize. We will get that fixed. It's been bugging me the whole time too. I know. Anyway, but yes, this PowerPoint will be available and we'll have the slide deck for you so you can share it with your units and your scouts. Also, we put together a PowerPoint like deck in the unit leader portal for you guys to do your kickoffs with. So you can use that as a template too and just fill out some of the information when you're speaking to your scouts. Cool. All right, let's talk product next. A couple of different thoughts here. The first one, we've removed all artificial colors and flavors. So if you've kind of been paying attention to the FDA and everything else, that seems to be the biggest trend that we're going to probably see by 2027 nationally. But artificial colors, dyes, and flavors should all be removed from our diets. So Trails End is on the cutting edge of that. We've removed those from our popcorn items. The next part, I love that we're putting Scouting America and Scouts in Action on the bags. So now there's a Fleur de Lis on it. So you can see Scouting America, and you can see some Scouts in their Class A's. You can see them doing Pinewood Derby. There's the Rockets. There's some other things on there, whitewater rafting on the white cheddar and so forth. So a different type of brand, or helping with your brand, honestly, and with us. So co-branding. The other thought is anything in a bag is going to be that $20 along with your popping corn. So simplified mix. A lot of people think you need a ton of different items to sell a lot of different things, but look at the Chick-fil-A model or look at the Raising Cane's model. It's all about the chicken sandwich and different variations of it. You don't need a ton of different items to be successful. Technically, it's almost better to be simplified because the consumer does not like making decisions. So if you've got stuff on the table, white cheddar, kettle corn, salted caramel, popping corn, and microwave butter, people like those products. It's going to be easier for them to make the request and hand over their money, but it's more about supporting your scout. I believe we have some of the best salespeople in the world that in scouting, and they could sell anything out there from rubber bands to trash bags, and I've seen them do it all. But if we focus on me and we focus about how it's helping me, and I'm not just going to sit here and play Minecraft on my computer, but I'm going to go out to camp and I'm going to learn something new and be a good member of society. Trust me, Americans want that. We want a good generation coming out. Anyway, so these are the different products. Super important. Look at the white cheddar. That's the number one selling item. Sweet and salty kettle. Last year was 15. We raised that price to 20, but we also increased the ounces. So it's 7.5 cups. Or it's a light product, so ounces aren't always the best way to measure popcorn, if you will. It's more like cups and bowl fill is what we say. But salted caramel, that last year was 25. Now it's at 20. That had an ounce reduction. It's a heavier product, right? It's coated pretty thickly in that salted caramel. Next is your popping corn. That one's at 20. And then microwave butter. That one, it's going to look a little different. It's going to be mostly just white because it's not going to have any of those dyes in it, but it's got a little bit different of a formula. Really, really good. That one is at 25. So there is one upsell item, but majority of the items on the table are 20. And it's more about, again, your unit, the movement rather than the products, but we do have good products on the table. Okay. Throw it back to Brendan to talk some key dates, and I will jump on the chat and see if I can answer any questions.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. Some of these have already passed. So the first order, as I touched on before, that was already due. But like Ryan said, I'm happy to give you popcorn. If you didn't place that first order, just send me an email, shoot me a text message. We will be distributing that this coming Thursday. We'll get to where and when in a minute. If you are only participating in the main portion of the sale, if you choose not to participate in the early sale, that main order is due August 22nd. It seems like it's coming up. It's only 20 days from now. Summer really is flying by. We'll have that in hand for distribution to you all on September 4th, right after Labor Day weekend. Jumping back to that order that already went in, we really saw huge sales on Labor Day weekend last year. So even if you only want to jump in for that Labor Day weekend sale, send me an email, please. We're happy to get you popcorn. We have one return day this year. That's Monday, October 27th. It is a Monday. That's a big change for us. We've heard it time and time again. Units taking risk to keep product for a weekend to sell it. We're doing everything we can to mitigate your risk. So we moved that to a Monday. Um, New this year. Instead of you returning it to me and me entering it into the system for you, you're still returning it to us, but we do want you to go in and process a return order. That helps the Baltimore Area Council and Trails End future forecast and see how things moved. So please, that is new. We'll continue to push information out on that. Um, our average return last year was 3.5%. So we are keeping that 10% threshold on returns, and it is only unopened cases. Important note, popping corn, because of our inability to donate that, popping corn is not a returnable product. But everything else, the four other products, are returnable as long as they're in unopened cases. Final order is due on Halloween. So try and get that in early so that you don't impact your kids trick or treating. But Friday night, October 31st, we'll be placing our order that next morning with Trails End so that we can have it to you ahead of the Thanksgiving holidays. We'll be distributing that on November 13th. Again, that is a Thursday. Our hours may shift just depending on weather, which is why hours aren't listed. We are in an unmanned, no electricity warehouse, so depending on weather, we'll do our best to be open as flexible as possible. I know it's always on a work day, but we'll work with you if you can't make our times work. Um, Very few units last year actually had to write us a check because so many of our orders were processed through credit cards. But if you do owe the Baltimore Area Council money, we do ask that be postmarked by November 15th. Um, Nobody wants to be chasing down popcorn money in July of the future year from the prior sale. So let's just do our best to wrap that sale up by November 15th. Ryan, you want to hit the next slide here? This really is a recap of what we just went over, but our pickup location this year, different than last year, 921 Mercantile Drive in Hanover, not far from Maryland Live, the casino. I do want to highlight this graphic here. I'm sorry the blue line is through it, but I can't tell you how many times we've had a car show up, a mid-sized sedan, trying to take 60 cases of popcorn. It doesn't work. Please plan ahead. Um, do what you can to have one or two or three cars or the right size vehicle. You're not going to fit 70 cases of popcorn in a Toyota Corolla. It's just not happening. So take a look at that graphic, use it, plan ahead. Again, just distribution order dates and distribution dates. Next Thursday is our first distribution. August 22nd is our next order. September 4th distribution, and then Halloween and November 13th. All right, Ryan, you want to hit the next one? Cool. Commissions. Everyone on this call, I'm pretty sure, signed up on time by July 15th, and you're here at training. So you maxed out your bonus commissions. So you will receive a 35% total commission on the popcorn sale, on the traditional sale. Our online sale, as it has been for the past many years, is a flat 30%. Brian? Cool. Okay. Additional incentives. I think the Trails End rewards are awesome. I think the change in gift cards is a really welcome change for many of our scouts. So I'm looking forward to that. But we did want to make sure that we continued with some local incentives. The first is every scout that has a sale that's logged through the Trails End app will receive a popcorn patch. We brought that back 3 years ago, and I know it's just a nice thing to keep kids engaged. Those will likely be distributed at the February roundtable. So please plan to have someone from your unit at the February roundtable. If we have them earlier, we'll let you know. I touched on Scout Day at the Orioles earlier. It's a nice opportunity to get 2 free lower deck tickets to come out and celebrate scouting and the Orioles with a couple thousand friends. So $1,200 in sales, and again, that's dollars, not points. I know we've had a number of questions about that over the years. Dollars, not points. We will not have our date for Scout Day at the Orioles until the Orioles release their calendar for 2026. They generally do that after or during the postseason, so late October of this year. I know that makes it a little hard to dangle it out there as a reward, but the Orioles cannot release their calendar to us before the MLB releases it. $3,500 in sales is a free week at Broad Creek or at day camp. We had a number of scouts this year take advantage of that. Like I said, I went up and visited a number of kids at Broad Creek that were there for free this year, and that's a great incentive for $3,500 in sales. Just taking a look at the chat before we move on. Yes, unfortunately, there are only 52 Sundays in a year, and Father's Day was the only option this year. We were doing our best to make sure that it's not on that date next year. Ryan, you want to switch to the next one here? I think it's kicking back to you.
Yeah, I will say Father's Day in baseball sound really good to me. But anyway,
I thought so too.
Wish I could make it. I've never been to Camden, and that is on my list. Okay. Cool. Let's talk about some of the support levels we have for you all. There's a couple different things. There's the Trails End support. So you can support at trails-end.com. I will put that in the chat. Look, I don't like emailing support stuff personally, but I've never seen somebody so fast as our team. Like, I don't know if is that realistic, Brendan? Am I setting too high of a bar? But it's weird. They're that fast.
They're excellent.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is we have about 10 of them, and them being great customer service reps. But guess who they are? They are unit leaders who we've contracted with approval from councils. So they speak the same language. They are high selling unit leaders. They are really, really good people. You may have seen some of their posts on social media and their profiles. They are awesome. So make sure you use support at trails-end.com. We have this FAQs. The FAQs, you can search anything on there and it'll populate what really an answer to your question. Facebook groups, social media. It's interesting, right? There's a lot of different posts on our Facebook groups, people willing to help people. We have a lot of admins, including myself. So we will see if a community response is accurate. So don't be afraid to ask a question on those groups. Everybody wants to help everybody. That's one of the cool things about scouting. You'll see other information there. Important to note, some of our new initiatives, programs. You'll also see that from your council too. Brendan will get a sneak peek and email it out, but it's nice to see it in multiple different ways. The best way, in my opinion, is obviously counsel, me, or support. But if it's something really system driven, support's your best route because they can actually look at your account, take that over, and then adjust anything you kind of need. So make sure you also look at your Baltimore Area Council Facebook group. I'm on that too. Brendan's on that. He does a great job posting. We got some user-generated content too from district colonels and everybody else. So that's really fun. Make sure you hop on there. One of the things I didn't really realize when I first started was the amount of fundraising and character growth that you get through the program. It's vitally important for people to earn their own way. They're going to feel better about the program if they've earned it rather than it was given to them. And not everybody can pay for it. I always kind of shudder when I hear that unit leaders just get checks, because a lot of people are really proud and they're not going to say that they need help, and they may just drop out of the program. And a lot of it is financial. We just don't get to see it. So because of you spending time learning how to do this and putting it on for your unit, you're giving a lot of kids, a lot of scouts inside your community the ability to continue to be in your program. Super important. Really a big thank you. You're 1 hour a week per scout. But anyway, it's really important for you guys to really pay attention and do this. And I really thank you for all the time and the effort. Don't be a stranger. Reach out, give us feedback. And we're really looking forward to a successful year. So let me know how else we can help. And thanks for your time.